have such thing. I think we go on to the next scenario, a primary gravida induced labor with prostaglandins, vacuum delivery, and subsequently she starts bleeding. And as Dr. Pramila and Mumtaz has highlighted, the arrest of bleeding is a very, very critical step in salvaging the patient. Okay, I would like to ask Dr. Deepti, how do you tackle such a situation? Dr. Deepti?
Dr. Deepti?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I hope I'm
Please
audible. Yeah, good morning, sir, and thanking Rajshekharan, sir, as well as Kunjumaideen, sir, and the POX team for this opportunity. As Pramila has already said, the preparedness was the best thing, is the best thing to tackle any situation. This question sir has put forward for me is little tricky. Induced labor with prostaglandins, vacuum-assisted delivery, a torrential bleeding and collapse in 10 minutes. My area to be addressed today, because it is arrest of bleeding, I will go to the atonic, but don't forget the fact that this can have compounding factors like it can even be a rupture, a traumatic element, or even an amniotic fluid embolism because she collapsed in 10 minutes. The main problem thing is to arrest the bleeding. Always we are taught that we call for help, do the medical management, etc., etc. It is very good to write it as an essay, but in practical situation, everything should go hand in hand. And always the maximum mortality and morbidity, as Pramila has stressed, and what we have seen from the CRMD reviews and near-miss reviews are the ones which are happening in small setups with a less staff. So being prepared in arrest bleeding will be having good light, having your PPH box and your instruments ready, as well as cervical inspection set. So there are so many things about medical management. Everything has been, always we were talking. I will talk about the two kids in this thing, and I'm talking about something new, which should be acted as, used as the first aid in the case of arrest of bleeding. Just 1 week back, I had a call from a colleague a friend from outside Kerala. She had a patient who had collapsed and died by 45 minutes. The first question I asked was, why didn't you use a transvaginal uterine artery clamp or a suction? They haven't even heard about it. So here I'm introducing a transvaginal uterine artery clamp. Hope you can see it. Mumtaz, is it okay? Is it okay? Yes. So this thing, and it is invented by none other than Dr. Pillai. I'm sure he is also watching. So I'm sure if I made any mistakes, he will correct me as well. So this instrument is nothing but a sponge holding forceps, which is modified. There is an angle at 90 degree and the tip is up at 90 degree to this. The main important thing is that, as all of you can see, the tip, even when it is locked, hardly have got 3 millimeter. There is a gap in there. This is a fully locked instrument. So how do you apply it? And this should be the first aid. Imagine a situation, a patient is bleeding profusely. Stabilizing the patient IV line, everything is going on. Immediately, you put this on the uterus. So this is a model. Forget about the scar here because it's a common model for cesarean as well as normal delivery. And imagine this is the cervix. Sorry, this is the vagina, and this you have got the cervix here. Just hold. When you hold like this, you have to have good retractors. That is good wide bore retractors, which should be there in your cervical inspection set to retract these two ends. Like you have to retract it like this. And then you catch hold of the cervix on the anterior and posterior part in the midline. That is here. I am catching hold like this. So this, you are catching hold in the midline. You can see this clearly. I hope, Rajshekharan sir, it's okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So in the midline. Now what you are going to do is take this instrument, make it open with one limb which is going inside the cervix, the other limb outside the cervix, and it is going to at the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock position. And classically, in all the procedures on the cervix, we were asked to avoid 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock position for fear of damaging the artery. Here we have to go exactly on 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock position. So you go like this. And as you can see, when I go, my outer limb will be opposed by the fornix. It is touching. From that point, you deliberately push it again, another 1.5 centimeter above, and you clamp it. It takes hardly some 1 minute to do it. Anyone can do, even your staff nurse in the labor room can be taught to do this. So the purpose here is that when I am clamping like this, I am actually catching hold of the uterine artery. Can you see the uterine artery, the red color, at its insertion, that is at its point, which is turning into the uterus. So I am catching hold of you have to do the same thing on the opposite side. So what are we achieving in this is that we are completely arresting both uterines to the uterus. Again, the uterus may remain flabby, but the bleeding will immediately stop because we have arrested the total blood supply to the uterus. And the one question we are always asked is that, won't it catch the ureter? We are always told ureter is very close at that point. Of course, there is a small risk, but even if you catch it, nothing will happen because this thing, as I told you, has got a 3 millimeter gap at the tip, even when it is clamped. And the pressure is only to arrest the flow inside the vessel. It will not be damaging the tissue. And we usually keep it for 15 to 20 minutes, but then it can be kept even longer as the new experience is coming forward. So this should be the arrest of bleeding. And within this 15 minutes, it gives you time to do all your procedures, medical management. And after 15 minutes, you release it, keep it there, see if there is any bleeding. If it is no bleeding, you can slowly take it out and observe, or you can put even a condom catheter for the further ongoing management. But if it's again bleeding, you can reapply. And at that point, you can even think about, or this is the next thing, like you are seeing, all of you would be knowing about the suction cannula. In Kerala, it goes by Dr. Samantharam as well as Dr. Panikar. They have got their own innovations. The whole thing should go inside the uterus. And again, the hole should go inside the uterus to our normal suction apparatus, and the pressure to 600 centimeter, and we keep it for 10 to 15 minutes. The basic principle is the uterus contracts and comes onto the grips onto this. You keep it over there, and after some time, see whether it is bleeding has stopped. Stop the suction machine. Slowly try to release this once the bleeding is over. And when you release it, sometimes the desiccant would have been stuck inside. So don't pull it out hardly. You have to just put your finger inside and just make it separate from the uterine wall and take it out. These two things actually revolutionize the management of atonic PPH in the labor room in the acute collapse of the patient, because there should be a zero tolerance to the amount of blood loss. We always say 500 ml for normal delivery, 1000 ml for cesarean. Don't go by that, because these days we are seeing even a minimal amount of bleeding is altering the milieu of the patient, pushing the patient easily into DIC. The other thing, because Rajshekharan sir asked me to introduce only these two new things in this. One more thing which I have to talk about, you have already heard Dr. Piley talking about a lot. Again, when a patient, you are preparing her for, suppose, you are anticipating a placenta accreta, or even in a collapsed patient who is going for DIC, or taking her for laparotomy on a midline incision, the best thing will be the aortic clamp. Again, it is a first aid. When it is a midline incision, go to the lower end of the uterus. Sorry for this small model. I hope this is clear. This is the lower end of the aorta, where you will be actually picking it up from a Babcock initially. Just pick out the aorta and then apply the clamp. Sir has already spoken, shown the videos. I'm not going to elaborate. But the only one point we have to add is, when we are caught unexpected in a fan and steel incision, it is not easy to go to the lower end of the aorta. Then you can go to you can easily see the common ilia. So you can apply the same thing on common ilia. The only thing it should have been a set of two. Apply it on the common ilia, but beware, because at the lower end of the aorta, the ureter is little far away. You don't have to worry. Whereas here, the ureter is pretty close. Even if you accidentally catch it also, it again will not damage, but make sure you don't catch it. Don't try to dissect it out, because we obstetricians are not great vascular surgeon. Damaging the vein can be a problem. So this is specially designed with the purpose that you don't need any dissection of the peritoneum or the vessel. Sir, I hope I am clear about it.
Yeah, I think, thank you very much. And you have brought in a very important concept, that is, over the years, we have been trying only the pharmacological methods for control of PPH. Okay, now there has been a paradigm shift in our understanding, that is, a combination of mechanical and pharmacological methods do give the best salvageability due to in a collapse woman with hemorrhage. Thank you for bringing in the new concept.